you look back at that game, and the story is like anything else in college football. Turnover margin is huge, and particularly on the road, we punted one time, and so we weren't stagnant offensively. To punt one time in a football game, we did some things that hurt ourselves, and to turn it over 6 times, our defense to still only give up 27 points with that many turnovers shows you look at time of possession, you look at all those other stats, they're winning stats except for turnover margin. So, our message yesterday was, hey, listen, here's what we're capable of. We still won the football game because of great effort and because you guys played until the end. But you made it hard on yourselves. And on the road, and as things go on, the ball could bounce either way, and we lose that game. Right? We clean that up, and who knows, we probably can win going away. That's not to take away from Ole Miss. That's just the way the game was. So our guys understand that, and it's a learning process. But as it played out, the ability for us to make those plays at the end of the game, I think that creates a confidence that, as a coach and as a program, you can't simulate that in any kind of practice atmosphere there is. I mean, you can practice it, but it doesn't mean anything until you go and win it.
How important is it to your program in its first year to have a senior like Jonathan Stewart, who, by all appearances, really buys in and leads this defense and helps lead this team?
I don't know that it's just Jonathan. I think if you look at our group of linebackers, I think it's a combination of he and Sean because of what we ask him to do. There are multiple. And what we do defensively, one of them's on the field all the time. Sometimes we've gone to defenses where Jay Stu's off the field, but Sean's in the middle. Sometimes both of them are on there, but very rarely are you going to find neither of them on the field. So those guys are getting us lined up. They're doing everything for us, and I think the combination of those two are extremely important. They played as much football, more football than anybody in big football games. You look at the last play on defense, well, the 4th down play, Sean Porter, which we were looking at yesterday on the effort tape, Sean Porter on the snap of the ball is crossing face and it actually takes up 3 blockers. And the whole inside of the thing collapses because of how fast and how tenacious he's playing. He takes up 3 blockers, and Jay Stu's around the corner and makes the tackle. That's what I'm talking about. It's one guy who's given up himself, saying, "Hey, look, I'm going to clean this thing out. You got to make this play." And those types of things, as your team sees that, if Sean just goes and tries to make it himself, then there's a whole different blocking scheme. But it's the trust that, hey, listen, I'm doing this, my job, to get this done. And you got to make this play, and we get off the field. But they're all playing hard, and I think that's the biggest difference in our team right now. Understanding the schemes offensively and defensively, and trying to trust each other to make plays, and understanding that their role, even though I didn't make the tackle, what I did was as important, or maybe more important, to us winning the game than them calling your name and you jumping up and down, and that takes a lot.
You said after the Florida game that you wanted your defense to get more turnovers, and I think in the last 3 games, not only got turnovers, they scored off those turnovers. How big is that?
It's big. Those are the difference between, as I said, what we talk about, game changers. Those are, some people say 7 points, depending on the situation, that can be a 14-point swing. You look at the ability to turn those turnovers into points, which we've been able to do. I think that's been the biggest difference. We've been able to turn turnovers not into offensive points, but whether it's an interception for a touchdown or fumble picked up for a touchdown, those are big swings. So you know, from our standpoint, I think our guys understand that. Like, as I said, offensively, we've done a great job until last week. And we're back to zero in our turnover margin. You know, I think we're what, 7 giveaways and 7 takeaways now. So we're back to even. But we've got to keep climbing back up there. We've got to still do a better job, as I talked about. Everybody knows taking care of the ball, but continue with what we're doing defensively and trying to create turnovers.
Kevin, what have you seen from Louisiana Tech since they've been playing versus when you were looking at them to get ready for that first game?
Shoot, I see a better team. You know, I'm not surprised by them being ranked. I'm not surprised. I told you guys before the season, you know, we played them last year. Was a conference champion. Lost 3 or 4 very, very close ball games last year to some good teams, ranked teams. You know, Houston, Southern Miss, you know, who we played in the championship game. Mississippi State in their series away a year ago from beating TCU in the bowl game. Those are, at that time last year, 4 pretty good teams. You know, you look at this year, and all you got to do is go look at them going on the road and playing Virginia and putting it on them, and then going to Illinois, who I don't know where they're ranked statistically defensively, but on the video, Illinois is pretty good on defense. They might have some other issues, but they got some guys flying around, and they put it on Illinois up there too. So they're not going to be intimidated by us a bit, and they shouldn't be. This is a game that doesn't surprise me where they are. As a matter of fact, I think they're probably a little bit low being ranked. And for our football team to come in and play a top 25 team, I think it's, you know, we're excited about that. Sonny, as I said, does a great job with that whole program. You've got a veteran team, a team that's been around each other, and a coaching staff that's been around each other for a couple of years, and 3 years, know what they're doing in their system, have the answers for when you try to do some other things. You know, I think they've done a nice job. You know, Kobe Cameron's been in that system, understands what they're doing. They've played in big ball games, and for them, this is a chance for them to make a statement on national TV. So we're going to get their best shot.